the YouTube uh, admin.
Dennis, kindly switch off your microphone. Thank you.
Admin, the admin can mute all participants.
Mr. Chairman, we now have the quorum. Mr. Chairman, we now have the quorum. I think we can start.
Mr. Chairman. Hello? Are you getting us there?
Yes, hello, Honorable Secretary. Hello?
Yes, I can confirm that we now have the forum.
So we've now made quorum, okay. So then let's begin. With you confirming quorum, I would like to welcome everyone to today's meeting, the general meeting. Can you ask those in the background to keep quiet while we try to listen to ourselves? Honorable Secretary, there are those who are, can you mute those who... Okay, thank you very much. So, Honorable Secretary, if you just read out the notice that has called this meeting. I know it's a one agenda item, so that we then proceed. Honorable Secretary.
Yes. Mr. Chairman.
If we just, yes, go ahead.
Today's agenda is to receive the Executive Committee's proposed program of action, budgets, development plans, and other matters it intends to implement during its term of office for endorsement. This is an SGM meeting that is in accordance with Article A6 of the Constitution of the Entebbe Club. And it is supposed to take place within 45 days after the new term of EXCOM. So that's the reason as to why we are here.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Secretary. Now, can you tell us who is going to take us through the plan of action? Can we ask those who are in the club to mute their voices so that we can all hear each other? Honorable Secretary, can you please inform this meeting who is going to make a presentation or take us through the course of action or the plan of action?
Secretary, we can't hear you.
Honorable Secretary, we can't hear you.
Sorry, there was a
Is
small
it
problem.
you or the Honorable Chairman who is going to make a presentation of the
presentation
plan
is
of
going to
action?
be made by the chairman and is ready to present.
We see your lips moving, but we can't hear you.
He's muted. I can see he's muted. He's...
Jacob, Adoch, you guys are muted.
Mr. Chairman, so we seem to have a problem connecting with the secretary. Mr. Chairman, can you please take us through the plan of the plan of
I don't think they can hear us.
Let's call the mobile.
action?
They don't seem to be able to hear us.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Oh, finally. Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, the presentation is going to be made by the chairman
Okay.
and is ready to begin.
Honorable Chairman, please take us through the plan course of action so then we can the members can hear it and then we have a discussion on it.
Okay. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you, just keep the phone near you or something.
Okay. We shared the action plan 2025 to 2027 over the weekend. I hope everyone has it. Maybe opened on your phone.
Chair, it is not clear. You might have to use the audio on your phone. It's not clear at all.
Mr. Chairman, you're not very clear. Perhaps you could just hold the phone nearer using the microphone. Honorable Chairman.
Okay, can you hear me now?
That's much better.
Okay. So we shared the action plan. It is just 2 pages. So we'll start with the first department. Okay. So can you mute the, I don't know how many sounds you can hear. Can you mute the microphone? I go back to the microphone. No, that one. Have you switched it off, the microphone itself? The one you're using. Okay. So if the guys around you can switch off their microphones so that you are alone talking. I've decided to go very far. Yeah, that's much better now. Yes, it's much better. Okay. You want to go to halfway house. We start with the cost maintenance.
That's much better, yes. Yes. So go on. So you are okay.
Yeah, we start with the cost maintenance. The description is maintenance of the course and course equipment. This is a recurrent expenditure, and for the period we have put in 200 million for that activity. The next one is procurement of a storage container, 20 feet. This is a development expenditure. This container is to store course equipment and also products like fuel and chemicals, and that's 11 million short term to be bought immediately. Then we have equipment repairs, repair and overhaul of course equipment, recurrent expenditure as well, 50 million. Then we have these unfunded priorities. The first one is the procurement of a tractor, 125 million. The next unfunded priority is a gang mower at 20 million. The next one is procurement of green mowers, These are supposed to be 2 of them at 40 million. Procurement of 2 industrial leaf blowers at 4 million. Complete the reorientation, redesign, and construction of hole 13 and 14. It is an unfunded priority, 30 million. After finishing 13 and 14, we have to do cost rating of the whole course. It will take 3 million shillings. This could lead to change of stock indexes of particular holes. Then we have to mark the whole cost. This is a recurrent expenditure, which we do throughout the year. 4 million. Then there's installation of an irrigation system for the course. This is a development expenditure which is estimated at 250 million and to be done in the medium term. That goes to also irrigation of the areas around the greens, improving those areas, also 80 million. Then there's, once we have finished 13 and 14, we have to change all the holes to new grass so that there's consistency on the course, and also to redesign 4 and 7, greens 4 and 7. The estimate for that activity is 248 million to be done in the medium term, slowly. Fumigation. We need the fumigation system, and we must procure a dedicated fumigation system. This is a medium term, something to be done in the midterm at 30 million. Then fencing of the club. Some members have supported the fencing of the club, but in order to support that effort and complete the work, we need 30 million to complete, and we are saying this can be done over 1 to 2 years. Trash cans, we need to increase on the number of trash cans on the course, and also install do not litter signs. Provide some benches at selected tee boxes, and that expenditure is 20 million. Then, in the long term, we think that the driving range should be constructed to a standard driving range facility at 100 million. This is also a long-term activity. And then as a club, we must make contributions to our major opens, the Entebbe Open and the Entebbe Ladies Open. These are club competitions that have to be held every year, and that's a recurrent expenditure that is short-term. So the total under course is, and the golf department is 1.3 billion shillings. Chair, I don't know whether I should stop here so that maybe we first discuss golf, or I continue and we finish the whole plan, then you can have comments thereafter.
The members provide clarification. Mr. Chairman, did you hear me? I said go through the whole plan, and then members can ask questions at the different parts of the plan, other than where they have questions or queries. Is that clear?
Yes, very clear. Thank you so much. Okay, we go to the house department. The first activity is furniture refurbishment. This is to be done in the medium term. It's a development expenditure of 23.5 million shillings. And we'll use it to refurbish the clubhouse chairs, tables, and the counters. Then we have a long-term activity which has been in plan for a long time, and that's the construction of a ramp walkway from the parking yard to T-box number 1. The estimate is 35 million shillings, and we'll continue to do this and look for funds to do it. The next one is the men's and women's locker rooms. This is a development expenditure to be done in the medium term. The estimate is 50.8 million, and this will be to work on the procurement of extractors, installation of motorized doors, reconfiguring the men's locker rooms, and also ensuring there's a biometric access system installed to the boss facilities. Then there's entertainment. The place where we are seated now, the halfway house, the MTN pod does not have a TV. Installation of that is estimated at 27.9 million, but we'll be looking for sponsors to make sure that this activity can be done as quickly as possible. Then we have a major activity, development activity, completion of the old clubhouse, 300 million shillings. This one is short term to medium term. Then we go to power backup system for the club. As you know, the club has already procured a generator, but we need to complete the part payment we made on the generator and also do the installation costs and also expand on the water heater system. And that is 30.2 million over the medium term. Then under house, we have security improvements. We have to expand the coverage of our CCTV, install more solar security lights, procure some equipment for the security team, like walkie-talkies and metal detectors. The estimate is 38 million. We would like to construct a standard caddy waiting area for artisans and caddies, because when we improve the security to the club, it will not be easy for non-members to access any facility around the clubhouse. So we want to have a secure place where they can easily be got, and that is 40 million to be done in the medium term. Then we have a recurrent expenditure of repairs, plumbing, electrical, small things around the house. The estimate is 24 million. The total under house is 838 million. Then we go to staff and administration. The first one is to buy uniforms for all staff and also XCOM jackets. We have an estimate there for 10 million shillings. Medical insurance, provision of medical insurance for staff, the estimate is 64.8 million. Staff allowances, this includes overtime, transport allowance, airtime costs for supervisors, and tournament allowances is 80 million. Then we have staff welfare and meals. We normally provide water and meals for staff. This is a recurrent expenditure, 120 million. Office stationery, rims, files, toner, books, etc., 10 million, a recurrent expenditure. Maintenance and repair of office equipment like computers, printers, 6 million. Online subscriptions, we have 1.7 million is a recurrent expenditure. Then we have a big amount for staff salaries. We are approximating to have to maintain 60 staff, 610 million is a recurrent expenditure. We would like to create a documents register and the filing system. The estimate is 10 million. Because of what we have gone through of losing so many documents, we want to also go online so make sure every document is scanned, and we have provided 5 million for that activity. Then an XCOM workstation within the club to allow committees, XCOM, to be able to do their work when they're in the club and be able to complete letters that are going out. A workstation for that work, 5 million. Then we have partitioning of the office and also having shared workstations for supervisors, 25 million. Then we have a biometric in and out clocking system and intercom for staff, 6 million. I would like to upgrade the current system we are using. We have put a provision of 20 million. Would also like to outsource an architect to create designs for the club and the course, and that's we have provided 10 million. And finally, staff training and outsourcing experts on course management, 10 million, again a recurrent expenditure. The total under staff and administration is 993 million. Then we go to the indoor and outdoor department. Here we have the basketball court. Improve on the lighting of the court by installation of solar lighting. Resurface the court and install fiber boards. These two activities, 1.5 for improving the lighting and 20 million for resurfacing the court. Fencing, provide the proper fence around the basketball court and also the tennis court, 20 million. Then some work on the tennis court, resurface the court and buy a new tennis net. The last net was given to us in fact by the Uganda Tennis Association. In fact, it was handed over by Cedric Babu himself. May his soul rest in peace. So we need to do that activity for 15 million. And then tennis training equipment, rackets, balls, we have put a provision of 1.5 million. Then we go to the indoor games. Ludo, Omweso, Matatu, Scrabble, Monopoly. Since we will have more areas for members to enjoy these games, we have put a provision of 1.2 million. And this is one of the few that is a funded priority. The chairman's cup will be able to buy these games. So we'll have them. Then the indoor and outdoor league is something that is going to be ongoing throughout, so that members can learn these games and enjoy them through competition. Table tennis, darts, pool, and snooker, 1.5 million recurrent expenditure. Then we go to the bar, very, very important department. We'd like to introduce a mobile bar setup for 12 million. Buy 3 freezers for the old clubhouse, new clubhouse, and halfway house, 6 million. Procure glasses and related implements, 5 million. Procure or purchase a nice making machine, 1 million. Purchase a new coffee machine, 3.5 million. And then provide for members cabinets for storing their drinks, 8 million. The total budget under bar is 35.5 million. The total budget from the four is 3.2 billion, broken down as follows. Total recurrent expenses, 1.2 billion. Development expenses, 1.97 billion. What are the revenue streams? First one is green fees. From the new green fee structure, we expect to collect 1.9 billion. From bar sales, this is the profit net of the capital is 300 million. And then from membership and annual subscription, which has been maintained as is, 858 million. Then for sponsorships, as you know, these sponsorships, this stream is unreliable. The money is normally used to cover what the sponsors want. And we are trying very hard, like we promised you in the AGM, that we will make sure that each sponsor leaves something for the club. So we can't give a reliable estimate yet, but we'll work very hard to make sure that we get some funding from the sponsors. Estimated revenue from the trees is 80 million, and the rental income from the cricket oval, from the facilities we rent out, is about 80 million. So the total under anticipated revenue is 3.2 billion. So when you go back to the budget, we shall be balancing over this long term of 2 years. So when we say short term, we mean 6 months. Medium term is 1 year, and then long term 2 years. So thank you so much, Chair. That is the end of our action plan for the next 2 years, 2025 to 2027.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chairman of the meeting. Thank you very much, Chairman of the club. I have two comments. I note that under income projection, there is 80 million to be realized from cutting of old trees. However, we need to know that when we cut these trees, we have to replant, and that is missing under
Yeah, we can't hear now.
expenditure line. Can't hear? Hello?
No, we can't hear anything. We last heard from Jacob. The rest, we don't want to repeat the question that you guys have asked.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, I think I got thrown off. Are you done with your presentation?
Yes,
Yes, I'm done with my presentation.
That's why it is important.
There's technology glitch.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, but they can't hear me. Do you hear me now?
Now we hear you.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Jacob.
Yes.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. So I have two comments on Chairman Jacob's presentation. Under revenue, there is a provision for 80 million to be realized from cutting of old trees. And I was saying that I note that under the expenditure side, there is no budget line for replanting where those old trees would have been cut. Secondly, the chairman has raised the concern about the current sponsorships, whereby most of the sponsorship addresses the needs of sponsors. Clearly, the sponsors are coming to have mileage here, and this club is walking away with nothing. I think that's a very good observation. And as a long-time member in this club, I can actually say that the developments in this club were made when we had very few sponsors, namely Casements, who sponsored here, the tournament, and JBG. Those were the only two sponsors we had for very many years. And the practice was that whatever sponsorship was made, we made sure that at least 50% of the sponsorship went into a development budget of this club. I thank you. My name is Joshua Tuhumwire for the record.
Thank you, Joshua. Honorable Chairman, you want to address the concerns raised by the member?
Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, since you can't seem to be... Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jacob.
I will start with the last one. It is a very good observation that current sponsorships, the club is walking away with nothing. But okay, I can say it's 50-50. Some of the sponsorships, like MTN and UBL, they have been very, very good to us. You can see, like today we particularly chose this facility where we are sitting to enjoy one of the products of the MTN sponsorship. And the UBL and MTN again are coming good on the clubhouse, on the old clubhouse. But it is a point well taken, and EXCOM is working very hard together with the sponsorship committee to make sure that sponsors leave the club with something. And I think so far we are seeing that there's going to be some, Hima Cement is going to give something. It might not be 50%, but they are going to move up to some point. For Chairman's Cup, for example, AfriSafe will give the club some money, maybe up to 20 million. We shall thank them when we have got it. So there's some traction towards making sure that sponsorships are made to the club. Then on the trees, it is a very good observation. Yes, we estimate, first of all, we disbanded the forest committee, so that work will be done by the golf committee, and they've already started They're even going to hire some people to help them do the work of thinning and coming up to know which trees are to be cut. But this is something which we have to accept. We shall put it in the golf committee budget, a line for planting trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman online and the Chairman physically here.
Thank you, Jacob. Does anyone hear me? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Chairman, thank you so much, and I want to thank our Chairman of the club for his presentation to us today on the activities that the new executive intends to implement. For the record, my name is Nestor Odaga, and I have quite a number of comments that I would like to make. With your permission, Chairman, I want to start with the presentation itself. I noticed that the current executive largely is the former executive. There may be some few adjustments in positions here, but largely we have carried the same executive that we had in the previous period. And therefore, I would wish to propose for the future that when we have this activities plan, when it is an activity which is being carried from the previous administration, it should be indicated so that this is being carried forward. And new activities should also be mentioned. Because I think it is important that for the future, we get to know what the previous administration promised us and what they were able to achieve in their action plan during the time that they were in office, and what they were not able to achieve, and then what they plan to do. So one strong recommendation is that indicate to us, for example, cost maintenance. This is an ongoing activity. But if it is an activity which is for a short term or mid-term or long term, then kindly indicate to us that this is an activity from the previous work plan which is being carried forward. That's my first comment on the presentation. My second comment, Mr. Chairman, is that also when activities is being carried forward, it's important to highlight for the members how much has been spent on that activity and how much is being required. For example, if I take hole number 13 and 14, the previous budget, the work plan, had 80 million. Now we are asking for 30 million. If we are to implement this, are we saying that we are going to spend 110 million to do the 2 holes, or we are spending less? So it would have been good for us to know out of the 80 million, how much actually was spent on the 2 holes, so that we can then know eventually what we are going to be spending. I have compared the work plan of 2023 to 2025, which I have here, and the current work plan. My other observation is that, yes, indeed, there is inflation. I do take note of that. But I want to say that the expenditure as projected here compared to the expenditure of 2023-2025, I think most of them have gone a little bit too high. And I would wish that, there could be some adjustment in the rates that have been put. Secondly, I see that it was not clear for me. I'm still under coast and golf. I see fencing the club is at 30 million, which is the same as the previous expenditure before. But then again, also when you see under house under the house, you see again fencing. That is, create a fence around the clubhouse, another 40 million. So I don't know how we can clarify this. As I was saying, for example, to tell you, Chairman, driving range, previous budget talked of 200 million for driving range. This year, the budget being presented for 2025, 2027 is talking of 100 million for driving range. The question is, did we spend any amount on the driving range out of the 200 million? So are we saying that the expenditure for the driving range is going to be 300 million, or is it going to be less? Because if you don't indicate to us out of the 20 million, how much, 200 million, how much was spent on the driving range? If nothing was spent, it is important to indicate nothing was spent. That's why we are asking for this amount. Or if 100 was spent, then you need another 100 to make it 200 million. I think those kind of indication will have been very, very important for us. The same I talk about, if you come to, now I go under house. Under house, for example, the walkway, in the budget now you presented to us, you are talking of 35 million long term. In the previous budget, you presented 27 million as long for the same course. Again, how much was spent on the walkway? And by the way, I don't see the walkway. Where is it? Maybe I can be told where the walkway is. Unless, of course, no money was found to build the walkway. I want to totally support you on the idea of improving the 19th hall, Mr. Chairman. I think this is something that we have always been advocating for. And I see here that you have put about 500-seater tent and a PA system, executive chairs, tables, and so on. I think for me, this is a very good development. And I've always been wondering, and I hope the club executive can get up in this, all these people who come and sponsor competition here. Why are they not, why can't they be hiring tent from us? You know, they should be using our facility so that we can get money out of it. And I think, Mr. Chairman, if you can achieve this, this will be very, very good. I also noticed that under the house, the old club house, you have budgeted for 300 million, if I'm not mistaken, but in your previous budget, you had 150 million. I see that the cost to me has gone much, much higher than what we expected, because all of us have been looking forward to having this house finished, and we thought perhaps now the cost will be less than what it was in the previous work plan. But from 150, it has now doubled to 300 million. I think that is extremely very high, and is something that we need to look into there. Again, for the artisans and caddy shades, you are budgeting 25 million. Previously, you budgeted 17,500,000. What happened? Did we get the money for it, or we didn't? And if not, then it should have been indicated. Coming to staff and administration, I don't have much comment on this. I have only two comments. I guess that the uniform cost has doubled because maybe the number of staff has increased. Because previously you had a budget of 5 million, now you have 10 million. So I want to believe that because the staff numbers has increased, that's why it has gone up. And I do hope that, for example, the staff allowances and staff welfare and meals, I pray that when this funding becomes available, they should really go to the staff themselves, and the staff get paid for that. Something that I thought will not be necessary for us in your budget is the power backup is another important point that I thought I should highlight. I had heard, I hope I'm not wrong, but I thought I heard that to do the installation and accessory of the new generator backup will have been about 18 million or so, but I see here that you have budgeted about 30 million. I do believe that this cost is extremely very high in my view, you know. Coming to the indoor-outdoor games, I think it's a very good idea to encourage these games, because a number of the youths will really enjoy these indoor games, so I think having them will be good. Coming to the bar, given our current situation and the challenges that we are going through, Mr. Chairman, I am not so sure whether, you know, this mobile bar is really something that is at 12 million, is something that we should give it a priority. I would certainly think that we have more better priority to attend to than such a thing like a mobile bar. And also, members' drinks cabinet. Well, maybe this is the culture of the club here, but I think this is something that maybe for me, I do believe members should, when they have their drinks, why are they keeping it here? If you cannot finish your drink, go back with it home. Why should you keep it here? Because I think that then begins to encourage people to bring their drinks and keep it here instead of buying drinks from the club, thus reducing revenue to the club. Coming to your revenue streams, green fees. I have the following comments on this. I noticed that recently the executive has increased the green fees. I personally will comment that, Chairman, the increasing the green fees may not necessarily mean more income to the club, because when you increase the green fees, there is a high likelihood that you may then get less member playing than previously compared. So I do believe that the issue of the increase of the green fees will not necessarily lead to more income, and my position is that the green fees should be maintained as it is, because I do believe that this will in fact bring us more income. And speaking personally, Mr. Chairman, one of the things that attracted me to Entebbe Club is because of its pocket friendliness. I drive all the way from Kampala to come to Entebbe Club because I felt that you know, the club was very considerate to people who want to play golf. With the new increment that you have made, obviously you are chasing some of us away from the Entebbe Club. And I see that it puts a burden on some people, because with the new caddy fee increment, with the new green fee increment, it may be very difficult for a number of us who have limited income to continue participating in the golf club here. And I hope that we can still maintain the tradition of Entebbe Club being a friendly, pocket-friendly club for all members, and therefore I would wish that the green fees be maintained. And we can check the statistics later to see whether increasing the green fees will make much difference to the club. And I know that also the green fees increment that has happened includes the VAT. Mr. Chairman, I would like to say that, you know, the issue of the VAT, I don't know how the executive is handling it, but my personal view is that the VAT issue should not be only an Entebbe Club issue. The VAT issue should be an issue that should be taken by the union. See, the Uganda Golf Union should be the one to handle the VAT issue. It should not be our baby alone. So they should take the lead, because I want to believe that what affects us here should be affecting all the other clubs. So it should be a countrywide issue, and that should be a fight that should be taken by the union. And for the time being, until maybe you take this matter with the union to fight, I will propose that the VAT can be included on the, not the new rate, but the previous rate that we have. So my proposal to the SGM is that my prayer is that the green fees should not be increased. We should go back to the previous green fees that we have. However, the VAT can be applied on the previous green fees that we used to have until the matter is sorted out by the Uganda Golf Union. My last point is on the trees. Mr. Chairman, I see that you have estimated 80 million to be obtained or be got from the trees. My view is that, one, those of us who are so passionate about tree growing, we get goosebumps when we see these trees being felled left and right. I do hope that, these trees will be strategically cut rather than just cutting them randomly. I have brought to your attention, Chairman of the club, that there are so many of these trees that have dried up, which are there. But I see some of them have still not been cut. If you go to hole number 8, right in front of you, as you approach the green of number 8, there's a huge tree there that is dried, and it has not been cut. But we are cutting fresh trees which should be reserved. I think this 80 million, in my view, it will be better if we also know how many trees do we expect to cut to get this 80 million. I think, personally, I believe this is a very high figure, and that means a lot of trees will be cut. What makes Entebbe Golf Club special, actually, are the trees. This club will not be special without the trees. So please, let us do everything possible to reserve the trees and ensure that the trees are actually the symbol of Entebbe Club. And I hope that great caution will be taken when trees are being cut. Mr. Chairman, I submit, and I hope my prayers will be answered by the SGM. Thank you.
Thank you, Nestor. I'll ask the chairman and his team to respond to the very issues that Nestor has raised. But just before they do, on the issue of VAT, I would like Mr. Innocent Chika of M Advocates, S&M Company Advocates, who are handling the tax matters and tax disputes that we have, to come on and
to
come on and explain the issue around VAT. So, Mr. Chairman, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Nestor, for those very important points. Chair, can I go ahead? Okay.
Yeah, please do.
Yes. It is a very good point that you raise, that the current executive should have indicated what was done in the last action plan and what are the new activities and what are the old ones that are continuing. At the AGM, the last EXCOM presented an annual report, very detailed of what they did. So yes, okay, we are still, most of us are still in this one. I think it is a point to learn for the next EXCOM. We shall hand over what we'll have done, and when they can copy and take it on from there. I'm going to give some of these questions to my colleagues to be able to answer. The one on fencing the club, the course member, the house member, and the indoor and outdoor captain, please arrange your thoughts around there. So when I finish, you should be able to come in and talk about fencing the club. There's a budget of fencing under golf, under house, and also some for the courts. The driving range. It is true that in the last budget we had put an estimate of 100 million, and in this budget we are putting 200 million because we are looking at providing something that we have given a bit more thought. So we'll have more structures and also an area which can be used for if you're not playing on the range, you can be hitting kind of a net inside there. Eh? So like when you go to these pro shops where you find that facility that allows you within the shop to try out your club. So provide such a facility at the range is what we're thinking, and that's why the budget is a bit higher. Unfortunately, the last EXCOM was not able to do anything and never got even that money to be able to do that work. On the walkway, it is true that that time we had made an estimate. That one was just a rough estimate, but now we have details, bills of quantities. We know what has to be done. We've measured everything, and the cost which is in this budget is exact. On the old clubhouse, in the last EXCOM, we were only doing phase 1 and phase 2 of the works. We are not looking at the whole clubhouse. But now with this 300 million in this budget, we are looking at being able to complete all the works in the old clubhouse and the restaurant in this period of EXCOM. So this will be the final activity, I hope, for on the clubhouse, and you'll not be able to see this activity coming through again. The same up on the KD shed, again, we are looking at another area completely different from the one of the last EXCOM, and that's why the cost is, you say high, it has raised, just different location and different facilities. For example, the other facility, they could use a toilet which is on this side. This other side, we might have to build a new toilet so that they are comfortable in their new location. There was something on uniform. The staff uniform, you will see that we have added something like coats for EXCOM. So each member of EXCOM will have a coat, not be able to go and represent Entebbe Club in your normal clothes. You'll have a formal dressing. And that's why we've added on some money. On top of the uniform for the staff, we should have some coats which are worn by members of EXCOM when they are carrying out their official duties. There's a big question on green fees. I will say a little bit on it. It seems, unfortunately, you're not in the AGM, the last AGM, but the green fee structure was discussed in EXCOM for a long time, very, very long time. And what we agreed in order to be able to fund this budget was that we make a small increment on members' green fees, and it was straight jacket 5,000 shillings. So if it was 10,000 on Monday, add on 5, it becomes 15, and then you add on the VAT, and that's how you arrive at that figure, going down. So if on Wednesday your men are supposed to pay 20,000 or 15, add on 5, it becomes 20, add VAT, like that, going down. Then of course, there are other issues, and the EXCOM looked at various other factors, and Honorary Secretary will explain, and also maybe, like the chair of the meeting has said, Innocent can come in and explain more on VAT. I want now to hand over to the Honorary Secretary, who will be followed by the course member, and then followed by the indoor and outdoor, the house member, and followed by the indoor and outdoor captain. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mine will go straight to the green fees. If you remember well, during our last meeting, we were advised that since we are going to pay or to contribute on the URA money, we should not again give a burden to members by increasing subscription fees. My predecessor, Ojambo, shared with the AGM, and he gave a detailed presentation where we realized that for every member for this club to run, every member would be paying around 5 million. So we did a research on green fees, and indeed the worries of our senior, I must say, for strategic reasons, we had very many members who were coming from up-country clubs, Tororo, Mbarara, Kabale, Jinja, but they would keep here. They would keep around. They pay the same fees. They pay the same, rather, green fees. And you find the club has many people, but at the end of the day, the reflection in the books, it is different. And you would always ask yourself, we are many here, but the club is doing nothing. When you look at what we increased for members, for example, Monday, you were paying 10,000, but now you are paying 18,000. The 18,000 is around maybe 15 or 16, and then plus VAT. So that increment is the last increment of, in our research, we found that the last increment of green fees, it was done in 2016, and this is 2015. So rather 25. So you can imagine from 2016, where 10,000, you could probably use it to maybe $1 was about, you can check and see how much was $1, and now we are looking at now the value or the cost of fuel, which is the biggest factor on the cost. So really, I think that increment was reasonable. When you look at these non-members or unpaid up members, we increased to 42 on those days where members are paying 18,000. So as members, you can see that when you have paid your money, surely you were in consideration. We looked around, we took care, we did research, and that is the figure that we came about for the members. And from the statistics, I can tell you, many times you would see here members, but I can assure you, in the evening, the accounts would be looking ugly. You can imagine the whole course is full, but we failed to raise $1 million. Or if we have tried, we're about 800 or towards $1 million. But just this weekend, on Sunday, we had about 1.3 million. On Saturday, which was a poorly attended tournament for the ladies, we had about 6.7 million. On Friday, which was also not well attended, it was about 1.8 million. On Wednesday, we got about 2.5 million. So far, this is just 1 week after this increment. I can also say, as a former MS, from the records, we have so far gotten about 7 members from Namulonge who were always here. They have so far paid because they are saying, why should they pay 42,000? So they have crossed from 42,000 to you who is paying around 18,000. All I can say is that we took time, and I must say that as EXCOM, we did our level best, and we are doing our level best to ensure that what we promised is delivered. Since we cannot increase subscription, we have indirectly looked at how we can raise some money for the satisfaction of the members. And how do we satisfy you? By giving you value for money. I thank you. Another issue I wanted to talk about was the issue of the fence. The fence that we are talking about is the fence that comes, the one that is in front of council. That fence is supposed to be coming and taking on the gate, whereby we are going to have an automated gate. If you have not paid your subscription or some dues or whatever, or you are not a member, you just come and use your thumb. If you have not paid, there is no one to fight you. There is no need of people putting you on the forum. So we are saying, let's have respect for members. If you have paid your money, there is value, no shaming, no embarrassment. But the fence that we are talking about is the fence that covers the parking up to the gate. Then the other issue was about the generator. The generator is from Mantra. We are trying to give the club first-class facilities, whereby, as Joshua said, even if you leave the club, you know that history will be always following you. Mantrack is the best generator supply company, and the balance that we have is about 17 million. The money that is supposed to be used for installation is about 13 million. We last paid the last installment. This installment has kept on for about 2 or 3 months, and they are the same reasons, because we did not have enough money to pay there. But with now this increase of subscription, I can assure you that we are going to pay this generator, and we will have it installed, and we shall say goodbye to the issue of power. Then the other issue was about the mobile bar. The mobile bar, we are thinking that if we fail to raise it, we shall probably get, we are targeting sponsorship. So it is a win-win, whereby if we fail, we can get it from the other side. Lastly, the driving range. The driving range, previously we had a concept of a driving range for Serena. whereby you can, it is a very expensive range. And we said, if we cannot raise money for Serena, we can still have a range like for Kampala, whereby you have where you can rest, put your bag, there is a carpet, you play your balls, and we are thinking of putting a net the other side. So it is all about doing what we can within our means. So those are the few comments that I had. Maybe another one was the walkway. The walkway, Mr. Odaga, the walkway, you know, there are some groups that had promised to make contributions for the walkway. That is Kavalaza and Katogo. We said this has been on for some time. And we waited for them when we were serving the previous EXCOM, and we were let down. So we said we are going to participate in this as EXCOM. If they come, well and good. If they don't come, we shall surely continue and do our part. I thank you. Now, maybe I will call on my other colleagues. There is Magero for the course. There are some questions that were for Magero. And then the other questions were for Edimu. So Magero first, you will come in, and then after Edimu will come in, then we shall go back to the chairman.
Thank you very much, Secretary. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Magara, we can
yes,
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
Very good, thank you. So, like the Secretary said, my name is Stephen Magera, I'm the course member, and I'm going to comment on the, sorry, can the club people mute? I don't know if there's an echo.
Magaro's friend. You can just hold on. Can every member mute their microphone except Magaro who is talking?
We can hear you loud and clear this side.
Can that side mute Adoch, please? I'm getting feedback. Okay, good, thank you. Yes, so I'm going to comment on two things. I'm going to comment on the fence, and I'm going to comment on the trees. Ambassador Odaga talked about us being organized in the way we cut down the trees. So yes, we are trying to move in an organized way. So first, we have been cutting the trees that are preventing our greens from thriving. At the same time, we got this donation, and we also cut some trees or pruned some trees to provide light to the solar panels. After that is done, we are going to move on to the next phase. So we are doing this thing in phases. We don't want to have trees being cut everywhere on the course and disrupting our play to a great extent. So we are trying to minimize the disruption to the experience of playing on the course. At the same time, we are also learning from these things that we are doing, and we are also examining how the tree cutting affects or impacts the aesthetic of the course. Like you all highlighted, Entebbe is known for the trees. And so, when we do certain surgery, we first see, how has it been impacted, how do we then adjust for the next phase? So we are doing that in phases, just as you're suggesting. That's on the trees. On the fence, so you will see that under course, there is some money budgeted for the fence. Even under house, there's money budgeted for the fence, and under indoor and whatever, there's also some money for the fence. the coast needs protection. And so, as you know, on hole number 2, we had a billboard stolen. We've also had a billboard stolen on hole 18 recently. And, you know, we are going to have these good pop-ups on some of the new greens, which we need to protect. And so you will see these various departments, you know, budgeting for fence to protect their assets. This is important. Maybe what we can do is have that consolidated so that you have a better view of the total expenditure on fencing. But like Deutsch highlighted, for example, for the house, the kind of fencing is different because it has the biometric and whatever, while on this other side, you know, we have the chain link and things like that. I hope that covers that. Back to you, Chair.
So maybe I will, thank you, Stephen. Milton Edimo here, Indo and outdoor captain. Just to supplement and summarize, there are 3 areas for fencing, each under different dockets, one under the course. Under the course, it's we're looking at the back of the council, which is closer to the range. I think the Honorable Secretary highlighted the area under the house and entertainment, which is the front of house. For indoor, we are looking at fencing off the playing areas. So it is specific to the playing areas for basketball and for tennis, both for aesthetic, but also for safety of the players. Over to you, Chair. Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much. Let us hand over to the chair of the meeting.
okay, thank you, Jacob. So, do we have any other questions? I see that someone has put up his hand at the.
Yeah, there's one here. Yes.
Hello. Good evening to everybody. Good evening, Chairman.
Are there any other members who have questions or queries?
Do you still have your thing on your knee? Anyway, my question is, there is 2 holes, 14 and 13. The 14 is disturbing me because that was the entrance for me on foot to come to the golf and walk.
And after that, we will have Samson Agamili, who also has a question.
Hey, what's happening? Okay. So my question is regarding hole 13 and 14. 14 is disturbing because I used to come on foot into the club and enjoy my walk. Now it's fenced. There's no problem.
We can't hear.
My question is, how much was spent on those 2, 13 and 14, full of sand? They look like a moon.
Sorry, the pod, you're still muted. We can't hear.
Mr. Chairman, we say.
Senior.
Come and help the 81-year-old man.
Chair, there are also questions in the chat.
No, I can't.
The questions.
Okay, my question is.
Now we can hear.
My question is.
Lost it.
I used to come in on foot and enjoy myself. Now there is a fence, that's fine. But so far, how much money has been spent on those 2 holes full of sand? They look like a moonlight, a good harvesting ground for Elon Musk. Thank you.
Yes, Samson, and then Samson. can we have Samson and Samson and Rukia, and then I think it was Zungu who had raised their hands.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Samson, we can hear you. Please go on.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Samson. Please go on. Samson, please unmute and go ahead and speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Samson, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Samson, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yes, can you hear me?
Samson.
We can hear you.
I think we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Right. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, my name is Samson Gamile. I only want to comment on three items of the of the document. One, when I look at the maintenance costs for the course equipment vis-a-vis how much money we need to spend to buy new course equipment, I would want to encourage the course member and the team at large to kindly evaluate the course equipment that need to be maintained at that cost. Otherwise, my priority would be that the money for maintenance be prioritized for acquiring new equipment so that we run the new equipment with less maintenance costs. That is one. Secondly, we have talked about unfunded priority. That has not come very clear to me because the details of the unfunded priority are not very clear. Perhaps you might want to highlight a few of them and why they would be called unfunded priority and why we are giving them a budget. Thirdly, and I'm just picking out something that occurs to me as a non-priority. I'm looking at the jackets that the chairman talked about for the expo. Looking at our tenure of the exco, if we're going to be having exco in office for 2 years, does that mean we are going to be buying jackets for every team that comes on board? Or is it going to be some attire which will be recycled by the new teams who come in? I thank you so much.
Thank you, Samson. Rukia, we'll take Rukia's questions, and then the chairman can address them and his team.
Okay. Good evening, members, and thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. I would like to make a request because in the previous AGM, I specifically talked about a bit of consideration given to the ladies regards Wednesday green fees. And Chairman, you will observe that of the women's section or the ladies section, we have a small pool of active members who are actually playing, and the biggest percentage of the composition of the membership of the ladies is basically artisans, and most of them never play. So the fair rests on a few members who are active at the club on Wednesday. So whereas 18,000 may seem something small, but it is impacting to on the membership, especially the participation of the ladies in a Entebbe club, as people think that this is really on a higher side, and whereas we'd probably think of putting that to the men, for us ladies, we should have a small privilege of maintaining the 10,000 as we pull members and the ladies mainly to join and take part on Wednesday. Every Wednesday on our group, the lady captain has told on all of us to please come and participate. Let's do this. Let's make this day really eventful. We are being creative in many ways on how we can pull many people into the game Wednesday. And Maureen is working around the clock to ensure that we have many members participating and getting many initiatives to reward members who are active and moving on with the game, especially on Wednesday. So, I mean, this comes at a time when they've added 8,000, which may not be significant, but for people who want to participate and really get this Wednesday active for us, the ladies, it is really significant. And if we could give it due consideration, we'll really be excited and happy to take part on our day, Wednesday. Thank you.
Honorable Chairman and your team, can you please provide responses to the questions raised so far?
Thank you so much. I'm going to answer. Start with the last one. EXCOM, as they were determining the new rates,
So EXCOM, as they were determining the new rates, did a thorough research, like we have said. On Wednesday in particular, there are two distinct rates, one for ladies and one for men. And that came, the thinking that came through in the last two AGMs, in fact. The last lady captain raised it. It came out very clearly that ladies on Wednesday must be catered for, and this is the figure which we arrived at, and it was after careful research, and we hope that we can rally the ladies to come and enjoy themselves every Wednesday, and also the men to play on that day, so that we can do what we can increase the value of the game. In fact, what EXCOM decided was that all those who will play on Wednesday, we are going to look at ways of having better prizes, things that keep on attracting more ladies to come to the game. So more prizes for ladies, and on that day, and that's the promise they gave. But in terms of the green fees, I think that's the amount. When you go to, and also for the green fees for the ladies, it's all ladies pay that green fees, whether they are from outside or from where, on that day. That's what they pay. You are from Ginger, you are from where, you can pay that amount on that day. So again, very special rate for ladies on that day. Come to the jackets. We have taken your sentiment. I think this one now we'll even maybe remove it, and we'll try I think we'll discuss it again in EXCOM and maybe put it on to EXCOM members to make sure they procure their own jackets so that when they are in a, when they are in official capacity, they represent Entebbe Club properly. On the question of walking all the way from 14, have I forgotten the question? Zagawa's question. How much? Very good. Brilliant, brilliant. Yes, yes. So our budget was about 94 million shillings for doing the 2 halls. And in fact, we have been trying to give information about the progress of those greens. They were designed. We implemented the design. What is left is making sure that water can go to those greens. We even bought the grass. It is in seed form. But we need to be very sure of the water that we have to be able to grow that grass there. And of course, put the grass into, the sand into the bunkers. But to answer your question directly, we had a budget of 94 million for those 2 greens, 13 and 14. By the time we stopped and we are pursuing National Water to give us the proper meters to be able to supply water to those greens, we had spent up to 72 million. So basically we were supposed to pay another 22 to be able to finish them. But of course there's extra work, so you have to, when we finish the greens, we have to make sure we also work on the tee boxes, and that we have started on. The course member is on that activity, and we should be able to finish that work.
Just an injection.
Yes.
There are no meters.
There is a meter. In fact, I can take you there and I show it to you.
From Kabale. You got it from Kabale. It's okay. It's okay.
But the meter which we want from National Water, it is a. It is okay. The meter is a 2-inch meter, not normal household meter. From a high pressure pipe, then it is measured directly. Yes. Yeah, so it is a good meter. But we have got somewhere around it, and once we get some funds, we'll be able to supply water to the 2 greens, and hopefully we can finish them in the next 4 months. Thank you. Chair,
Mr. Chairman, there was someone.
There's a follow-up question on trees here.
Yeah, but Honorable Chairman, before we get to the follow-up question, there were some other issues that were raised by some someone which I don't think have been addressed.
I can address those.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So as Samson has highlighted, yes, the cost of maintenance of our equipment is high because the equipment is old and it keeps breaking down. We are pushing and we are prioritizing acquiring new equipment. However, there is still a shortage of funds for that purpose. So you will appreciate, Samson, that while the maintenance, let's say, is 16 to 20 million on a monthly basis, something like that, the money does not come at once, if you get what I mean. However, with the chairman and with the treasurer, we are exploring ways of getting financing because we know we have the flow of money. We get financing so that we can purchase this equipment and bring down our maintenance costs. Now, there is that aspect of the equipment, but there's also the aspect of if we do regular maintenance. For example, if we cut the semi-rough more regularly, we will end up spending less than when we let it to grow and have to come and use a lot more fuel to cut it. So two-pronged attack on this lowering of the maintenance costs. 1, consistency, but 2, also getting that new equipment. So we thank you for your observation. We are trying to implement that.
Thank you, Magero. Can we take another round of questions? Are there any?
Hello.
Mr. Chair, there's a question on the chat.
Yes? Can you be kind enough to read it?
Hello. Mr. Chairman.
Hello, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I want to come in on the issue of trees. I would like to understand why the Committee on Trees was disbanded. Any sound reason why it was disbanded, I don't know whether they even did any work at all. So if there is no work that was done, how did you evaluate that committee and then come up with a decision to disband it? Number two, since we have had this forest for a long time, I don't know whether you have an established stock of the trees that we have, and then when you keep thinning and cutting, you are able to know what your size of the forest is made of. Because that stock would help you so much to manage what you have and what you don't have. Accountability and whatever. And I don't know whether you have had the time to consider professionals to manage this forest so that you don't make mistakes here and there, because every other project that comes in interferes with the forest. You keep cutting these trees and you don't seem to have accountability at all. I don't know even what revenue you are talking about since you started cutting these trees. Having said that, I want to go to the fencing. The fencing has a problem because you talk of donors. Why don't you have an established system of announcing who the donors are and how they actually come in to be donors and what they pledge as donors? Is there any authority that looks at these donors and evaluates what they can do for the club that is actually profitable to the club and not to individuals? If I can get an answer to that, then I think that's all.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. I would like to ask Mr. Chika, if he's on this call, to talk about the fence, the work done on the fence, and then on the issue of the trees, I'll ask the chairman and his committee to explain that. Innocent Chika, are you on? Innocent.
Yes, I'm on. I'm not sure whether I can be heard.
Yeah, you can be heard now. We can hear you.
Yes. Sorry, I'm using my phone, so I got off a call. So I just found my name being mentioned. What's the question, sir?
So Mr. Chief, one of the members has asked about and why they're doing it, and also if we just provide a further update to the club with regards to our matter with URA.
Okay, Chair, your line is breaking a little bit, but it seems to be maybe somebody at the venue can respond can re-echo your question because your line seems to be bad from my side.
So, perhaps, am I clearer now?
Yes.
So the first part was fencing that has been done and who the donors are and how it came to be. And then the second one was I wanted you to, for the purposes of providing information to this meeting and to the members, just give us an update in terms of where we are on the URA issues and the potential issue of VAT on subs and greenfields.
Okay, just briefly, with regards to the issue on the fence, as you're aware, trustee and chairman of this meeting, we realized that during the construction of the greens, the two greens, and having noticed that one or two of the sprinklers had been stolen, we noticed that we needed to fence the course. So myself as to fundraise for the fencing of the course, and this activity is still going on. So we have approached individual members of the club who have generously made their contributions towards the fence. So where it has reached, it's via the members of the club who we have approached and who have accepted to contribute to the project of fencing the club. Sorry, the course, not the club. So members, please be, it's distinct. It's not fencing around the clubhouse. It is fencing the course. So we obtained a quotation from somebody who could do the work, and we are working on it slowly but surely. So the moment we finish the back 9 of the course, and the moment we are handing over this asset to the club, then the list of the people who have contributed shall come out accordingly. This is in respect to people who have Entebbe Club at heart, who love the club. And then it's been divided into three phases. You have the second phase is the one from the hall number 1 green up to the municipal council, close of that area. That's the range area, and basically around hall number 1. We are fortunate that the zoo is building a wall around the zoo, so that will also help on creating security to the course. And then the third phase is along the boundary of hall number 5. Hall number 5. So this is it's a fundraiser that is going on to individuals who are interested in the security of the club, and in particular the security of the assets on the course. Right now, where it has reached is around Admas Hotel. We've started off with Green 16, which has been completely covered up to the road. The chain link right now, I think, is at Admas Hotel, but the concrete pillars are up to the road from hall number 7 / Katarina area. So onwards, I think those of you who play regular, you can see that. When it comes to the issue of the VAT issue, this arose from the AGM. The resolutions were made at the AGM with regards to the issues of VAT. So the firm SM & Co Advocates, formerly Shinubi Musoka and Company Advocates, is doing the work pro bono for the club. And at the time we had the SGM, so the AGM, the club was under threat because we had some agency notices that had been issued out by the Uganda Revenue Authority with regards to the tax issues. So as I speak right now, we filed the appeal with the tribunal, the tax appeals tribunal, and we've been able to obtain an interim order preventing the Uganda Revenue Authority from issuing agency notices on the club accounts. So this gives the club breathing space in which it can now operate on its accounts. Because previously, any money that was coming onto the account was being swept off by URA. I think the chairman can brief the members on I think actually he did so in the AGM with regards to the monies that URA had taken. So right now, we can sleep in peace. We are waiting for the main application for the injunction to be fixed. That's the duty of the Tax Appeals Tribunal. And we filed the appeal with respect to the assessments and the objections that we raised, and hence the appeal that was raised with respect of the tax issues. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chika. Now, Mr. Honorable Chairman and your team, you can now address the other questions.
Can I submit one before they finish?
Go ahead.
Sorry to take you aback. My name is Stephen Chitamirike. I'm just trying to look at the revenue sector. In terms of business, they're what we call incentives. I was of the view and encouraged this SGM to consider if you encounter players who play regularly and maybe offer a discount. Look at a situation where somebody would like to play for a whole week. Other clubs do that. Entebbe should also be able to handle such a situation. I also would like to entice you to look at what we call the seniors. Seniors have some limitations in terms of revenues as they grow older. Why wouldn't we consider, just as a category, and as long as they commit to play a certain number of games, and we give them a discount, it is something which is useful to them because it's healthy, and to allow them to continue, because equally all of us who are on this SGM, at one time we shall get there. My purpose is just to request the SGM to think about it and consider them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chitamirike. Honorable Chairman, I think there was one or two questions that have not yet been answered that were raised. Can someone address them?
Okay, let me address them. I'll start with the process of cutting trees. Like the course member said, we are starting with the first phase of making sure that we remove the trees which are hampering the growth of our greens. And then also the greens. For example, if you go to the green, you have seen greens have been dying. Number 10 here, number 9, number 4, and that's what the course member is talking about, and the tea boxes. Then there was also a donation from I&M Bank, which came through, and what has happened is a few trees have been cut, but there has been some trimming of trees, and that was the first phase the course member talked about. Then he said they are doing a survey with the whole course team. They know where all these trees are, the old trees, which we had discussed with Ambassador. He had highlighted to me some of the trees, and also other members have been coming up with these trees. And the course member said he does not want to make the whole course to go through a tree cutting exercise with a lot of hindrances all over the place, but he's doing it methodically. He will go to those old trees, and then he will go to the last ones when they are pruning. So that's the process of cutting the trees. I now think I gave it to a competent team, that is the golf committee, and that goes to answer the other question. Why did we disband the tree committee? The tree committee, when when we appointed it, we even gave it an expert. It failed to perform its work. It failed to meet. Members started resigning. And to be honest, that's not the way we do business. To be frank with you, I decided that that committee be disbanded. And now what I see is working for us, and this committee is going to deliver. You can see, I also think that that line which we put in of revenue from the trees of 80 million, I agree with you, it might be too much, but we shall be declaring to you how much we get from the trees. We shall account for every tree we cut, and like I promised, we'll put in a line to plant new trees in our budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. I see there's a hand at the MTN port. And then if there's any other member online who has a question.
Chairman, thank you so much. I have a follow-up question. First of all, I want to start by aligning myself with the statement of Mr. Stephen Kitamrike. But my prayer is that we will still go back to the old green fee. However, if that is not possible, then my appeal to the ExCom is that the seniors who have very limited income as compared to those who are still earning salaries should be allowed to pay the old green fee. That is my prayer to the ExCom, and I hope it is a good prayer because there is no choice. Everybody will become a senior one day. So we are not only taking care of ourselves, but we are taking care of those of you who are still in your early ages, but you will also reach there. So let us try to give some preference to the seniors. Even Serena Golf Resort, which is privately owned, gives preference to the seniors in terms of payment for certain days. So I do hope that, Mr. Chairman, our appeal to you, to the ExCom, will be listened to. And of course, I would also appreciate if this appeal could also be extended to the ladies as well, such that the ladies and the ExCom can be given a special preference. I'm talking about, yeah. Now, with regards to lighting of hole number 18, we really give our appreciation and gratitude to I&M Bank for the lighting of hole number 18. I only wish that the lighting were very strong enough to light the course 18 very well. My second comment on that is that I think the placing of the lights were too much inside where the trees are, and therefore necessitating for trees to be cut. I'm sure we could have spared so many other trees if the lighting was done a little bit more inside rather than inside. I want to thank Innocent for the response with regard to the VAT. But my major question was, thank you so much for the farm taking the case of the VAT, and we really appreciate that. But I will propose that, as I suggested, let this be a holistic problem. It should not be looked at as an Entebbe club problem only, but let us involve the Uganda Golf Union in handling this thing because it affects all the other clubs. I hope it is affecting all other clubs and not only Entebbe Golf Club. That is why I was saying that it is important we get the Uganda Golf Union involved in this matter. I want to appreciate the Honorary Secretary for giving us the statistics for the money that we have been getting with regards to increment that has been made. But you know, when you are comparing the two, you should have also given us the statistics of what we were getting at the old rate so that we see the difference. But I thought it was a little bit a one-sided thing because you only reported for the new fee But you never gave us the statistics of what we're getting in the old, or when we're paying the old, because probably the difference may not be too big. We don't know. And then also the Honorary Secretary mentioned that, of course, because we are not increasing the subscription fee, that's why we are increasing the green fee. So it seems at the expense of not increasing subscription fee, the green fees is being increased, which I think boils down to the same thing. But I would really prefer that, as I said, if we cannot go back to my prayer, if we cannot go back to the old green fee, then please consideration be given to the seniors to be paying the old green fee. With regards to the walkway, I will request that perhaps, Mr. Chairman, if you can engage Kabalaza and find out what their plan is, so that we can know whether to include this in the budget or not. That will be great. Mr. Chairman, you recall that I had talked to you some times back, and I want to thank all the sponsors who are really sponsoring the fence. That is a very good generosity from their part, and it shows the love they have for the club. But I did also mention to you that perhaps you should consider planting hedges around the fence outside, so as to avoid, theft situation. If they can come inside to steal billboards and so on, how about the fence that is out there? I never saw in your budget an increment in security. That's something that you should have considered, so that we have enough security at night to be patrolling that side, particularly around the hole number 15, and 12 and so on, to avoid possibility of theft. But I think hedges is something which is very important that should be planted, and it should be those hedges with the thorns, so that they can protect the wires. The other point we noted is, I think this is a course manager. There are quite a number of termites in the golf course.
Termites invading.
I don't know whether you have noticed that. Termites are invading the course. I think we need to take immediate action to get rid of them. Otherwise, it will become a problem. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I would like to say that my prayer for this wonderful meeting, and thank you and your executive for the job you are doing. So my prayers for the meeting are the following. One, we get a revised budget from you with the points that have been made, and necessary reduction made where appropriate, and that should be circulated to the members. And also my second prayer is that if we cannot go back to the old green fees, then special consideration be given to the seniors to be paying the old green fee. The last one is VAT should be a union problem that should be handled holistically and not be only left to Entebbe Club. I thank you, Chairman.
Yes, thank you, Ambassador. Just for your information and for the information of members, when the VAT issue first came up, with the other trustees, I don't know if any of them is on the call, we did have two separate meetings with the union. In actual fact, at the time we were thinking that we get all sports associations to have a meeting with the Deputy Speaker, or at least with the Parliamentary Committee on Finance, to present our case. So yes, this matter has been escalated up to the union. And there's only so much we can do, but nevertheless, while the union does what it's doing, we thought it prudent that we ourselves should first protect ourselves also. And that's the reason why the update provided by Mr. Innocent Chiheka is the way it is. So to give you comfort, yes, this matter has already been raised with the union. Actually, it's been raised with other sports associations, because when you look at the VAT law, and I had this conversation with many people, including the outgoing secretary, where we even went as far as looking at the VAT law, both in Kenya and Uganda, there was a similar case in Kenya, but we noticed that there were differences in the VAT law, so we were seeking to try and see how we could fast track an amendment to the law to exclude sports association by membership, because our VAT law does not honor that. So that's one thing I wanted to give you on. Second, with regards to securing the chain link that we have, and I'll put a disclaimer. I'm part of the group that discussed and is working on contributing towards the fencing that's been done so far. We have actually tried to look around to see how we can raise money to plant some kind of hedge outside so that we actually protect the fence that we have contributed to. But we said at this point, the first point is let's first finish from those who are willing to contribute, and then the next part will be to find some kind of hedge. There's a kind of hedge we've identified that we can possibly get, but we're trying to figure out the logistics and how we would raise the money to get it from amongst members. So for the other questions you raised now, on the issue of seniors, what I'd like to suggest for the EXCO arising out of this SGM, because the issue of preferential treatment for ladies, preferential treatment for seniors, even though we don't have those specific categories within the Constitution, but I do see the point that is being raised on this matter, both by Shitamirike and Ambassador and a few others, is we'll ask the EXCO to go back as part of their proposal on the raising of green fees, see if they can work out something that would be some kind of preferential treatment for those elder members. But, and this is a very big one, but we have to bear in mind one fact, which was raised very clearly and told to us by the then Honorable Treasurer. We cannot continue to hope for a good cause with the kind of monies and the kind of revenues we have. That's a fact. Now, as the chairman explained, yes, we have decided we're not going to increase the subscriptions, but nevertheless, they looked at the green fees and said that was something they could start with a small increment across the board. But if we don't have that, if we end up collecting less, and yet the demands that the cost requires are increasing, the price of fuels today is not the same as it was a few years ago. The purchasing power of 10,000 shillings 7-8 years ago is not the same as it is today. We have to be cognizant and recognize that. Okay? So the question is, perhaps if they can go back and say, maybe perhaps we'll have an increment, an increment based on inflation for green fees or something, but that's something they'll go back and look at. In addition, there was an idea that was toyed around some time back, and maybe perhaps EXCO should look into it. Compute the average number of games someone plays in a year, so that when they pay their subs, they pay one lump sum. Say if you, on average, you play 30 games, the average player plays 30 games, maybe it's 30,000 a game, add 900,000 to the subs, and you pay that once, and then you have unlimited games. Because a number of clubs actually do that, where what you pay as subs also covers your green fees, and you only then have to pay out of pocket for caddy fees. Those are options I think the EXCO can come back to us, like you said, and circulate to all members for comment. Some other kind of alternatives, but nevertheless, the fact is we do have to increase the revenues that we get if we were to even provide the members with any kind of decent level of cost for us to enjoy. I'll ask the chairman and his team to now address the other issues that were raised by the ambassador, Shitamirike and others. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, I think I got you had his hand up to respond to the tax issues. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I will address the issue of green fees. Mr. Chairman, I saw you, or I heard you talk about the issue of ladies and seniors. the incentive that was given to ladies is only 1 day. That is Wednesday, when men are paying 24,000 and ladies are paying 8,000. So the other issue or the statistics that Mr. Odaga was giving, I can give just a slight statistics of just a week before. On 22nd or 21st, it was about 225. Then the biggest amount were about 765. 26th, 280. 27th, 270. 28th, 270. Then we moved on the 30th, 610. On the first, we had not implemented. It was about 640. On second, 305. This is the money that we were getting a week before. But after the increment, there are those figures I told you. We have not gone below 1.3. This plan that we have shared with you today is based on those figures, whereby we looked at the ladies, looking at 1 day, where they are paying 18,000, looking at the seniors, where they are paying the amount that is indicated, and also the rest. Mr. Chairman, as you will realize that the category that we have Mr. Chairman, the categories that we have juniors, which is a very small number. We have ladies, seniors, and the rest are the youth. Saying that we go take the seniors to where they were before, it means that probably this action plan has to be revisited, and also the promises that were made by the chairman at the time when he was swearing in will never be achieved. Just like the expectations of other members. At the last AGM, we had issues of reciprocation, whereby many issues were raised that we have to improve the image of the club. And how do we improve the image of the club? By making sure that this action plan that we have put in place is achieved. However, I can only say that EXCOM can also sit down and also get a day, just like for the ladies, where the seniors can also get that incentive that the ladies are getting. Otherwise, it is very hard with the statistics that I have shared with you, the research that we made over time, whereby you can also see that from 2016 and 2025, I don't know whether there is any activity, any item that has moved, that has stayed what it was at that time. Even if you talk about the increase in percentage, most of the items have now moved to over 100%. I also take cognizance to the fact that I will not remain at the age that I am, but as a leader, we have an obligation of whereby the same seniors are the people to judge us what we have or what we promised, or whether we shall again sit here and say we failed because you gave us the mandate, and the mandate did not have the backing. The backing I'm talking about is the backing of finance. So I pray and request our seniors that please allow us to give you what we promised, and we cannot give that what we promised without the finances. I pray that we pass this action plan with a promise that the seniors will also be given a day of whereby they will probably pay the same amount as ladies. I thank you.
Thank you. So, thank you, Honourable Secretary, for that middle ground. Were there any other questions, Mr. Chairman, Honourable Chairman, that were not addressed? I think let's give a chance to some of those who are online. Let's not try and monopolize the questions. I'll let someone who is online to, if they have any questions or comments.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, my name is Kagora Simwe. I have looked at the action plan, and I thank the chairman for putting up this. But this is my request to the chairman and the treasurer. One, things are a bit, for a layman, they are a bit muddled up between the capital expenditure and the current expenditure. I want those ones to be separated, and we know where we are. Because when it's recurrent expenditure, there's no shortcut. That one, we have to make sure we can afford it. But if it is capital expenditure, we can go begging around and make sure either we raise our own money or we get someone else to fill in the gap. So I would want that split so that we get this muddled which they are put around. Second, the chairman, who is now the current chairman, his committee, they know their term. According to what they have presented us, it is 25, 27. I would want us to get out this mid-term, long-term, short-term. Those words don't make sense to anybody. Split them by the years. You say 2025, 26, this is where we are. 2027, 2026, 27, this is where we are. Why am I saying that? By end of the day, there must be accountability. If that accountability is going to be there, it's not by mid-term, by long-term, it's by end of a financial year. So where we are there, I want that to be corrected. So before they say that we approve the action plan, in my opinion, they need to go back on the drawing board and rectify that. That's my opinion. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you, Engineer Goro. But for purposes of expediency, I would propose your comments be taken into consideration and the revised work plan that will be circulated should take into consideration your recommendations. I think that would be a workable solution.
Thank you. Edwin Tumsime here. Thank you, Chairman,
yes.
and thank you, Chair, for the meeting. I see these increments of green fees. I would not really be much bothered by them, but I want you to remind you, this course at Entebbe on Monday to Friday hardly has players. So how do we now make a reason to increase only some estimations? We need to encourage people to come and use the course so that we now ride on more on what we raise, other than preventing to raise money. We should not ride on increasing the green fee, but what we collect generally because of traffic that has come. If you are here on a Monday, you hardly see anyone playing. Then we are also putting a fee of 10,000 that if someone is also around 435, to encourage that person so that the club can earn that little money, so that we don't lose on any sense of revenue. But there's no player in Entebbe between Monday and Friday. If you get them, you'll get 20. Who are they? The seniors. So that is the reason Monday to Friday had quite low rates, so that we can ride on turnover other than one person paying 50, yet you could have had 4 paying 100. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edwin, but I'll refer you back to what the Honorary Secretary said. The Executive Committee which we elected, we gave it a mandate. We gave them marching orders and instructions on what to do for us. Now, they are saying for them to be able to do the work and what they have promised us, they need more money. Perhaps if you're suggesting that, then even though this was agreed at the last AGM, and I don't think this is the place to be reversing, changing the decisions of an AGM, would have to call an AGM for that, is then you need to provide other ways of raising revenue for the club. The chairman, in his opening remarks, when he was making his presentation, said we cannot count on the sponsors. Yes, the member to whom we reminded us of what used to be done in the past, and that is something that's we're trying to do now, or that this team is trying to do now, to make sure that every sponsor brings something for the benefit of the club, maybe perhaps in cash or in kind like we have had with the MTN and I&M and others. But we need, nevertheless, either way, whatever it is we do, we need to raise the finances to put the club at a level where even the issue of reciprocation with other clubs can make sense to them. Even to remember the members, they enjoy the facilities, better facilities. But if we go cutting the little revenue lines that we have, we must have an alternative on how to raise that revenue. I think we should commend the EXCO for even trying to identify these potential sources of revenue. But if any member has alternatives, please let them know, and then we can discuss this. But I'll ask them, the secretary or the chairman, to respond to the issues Edwin has raised. I don't know if there's another member who has any other comments. An online person who has any other comments?
I have one comment which I had forgotten. That is for the treasurer and the chairman as regards the revenue. As I could recall, we had money which we had put in the Britain. That money was supposed to be. Is the money still there? Is it earning interest? Because according to the revenues which they are talking about, that thing is not mentioned anywhere. I stand be corrected, but let them give us at least a clue of what will be happening with that money. If the money is already used and we're not earning interest, then we know it as members. Thanks very much.
Mr. Chairman, can you please, Honorable Chairman, can you please respond?
Yeah, Chairman, before the Chairman responds, I want to add something very small to the issue has been discussed. Emphasis has been made that the committee that we elected them on a certain mandate and they have to deliver. Chairman, I think we should be cognizant that what we are discussing today is what we will judge the committee on. I think their plan of action is what we will judge them on, and that's what we are discussing today. So I do not see any challenge in adjusting the plan of action accordingly based on what we are going to agree on today. And part of it will be to review the green fees so as to ensure that certain categories are taken care of. And my prayer was to the executive, the EXCOM, to go and meet and discuss. I was expecting the EXCOM actually to come back to us after they have met and discuss our appeal to them. That's what I was expecting. And I do hope that still the EXCOM will go and meet and take into account our appeal to them. Secondly, I also want to share what Edwin has said. I do not share the view that increasing the fee means more green fee. More money, more revenue for the club. Actually, I think it is a deterrent. You will find that there will be less people now playing in this course if the statistics is correct. I know that the figure sounds very high because we have a number of our members here who play golf once or twice a week in this club. But you have certain category of people who literally their life depend on this golf course. So, trustee, I'm appealing to you that please let us not chase certain categories of people away from this club because they cannot afford it. Let's make Entebbe Club a friendly pocket club where people can come and enjoy golf and be able to play despite their meager income. So this club should not be only left for a certain few privileged, but should be a club that accommodates the unprivileged and the privileged as well. Thank you.
Okay. Ambassador, we hear you. Jackson Were and then Ejiku. My President Were.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and thank you very much, Chairman Jacob, for presenting such a work plan. Ladies and gentlemen, I commend the EXCOM for being a little visionary in the presentation of their work plan because, like Chair indicated about reciprocation, I think one of the reasons why some of us have tried and made efforts with other clubs in the region trying to create that reciprocation relationship is the value that we extend when they come to visit and look at our club. That said, I totally agree with the submissions on the seniors provision where consideration should be made, but probably I would want to suggest that the figures that have been presented for the green fees, we can look at days when we think traffic is high, like over the weekend, and we transfer the amounts that we've scheduled for, say, Monday, Tuesday, and we see how to factor that into the green fees for the days when we think traffic is a little high, like Friday or Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday. And that will give an opportunity, like the seniors have said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when the traffic is less, for them, they can always take advantage of that. But then the club will also have an opportunity of making off some money that will sustain the standards that we are trying to achieve, so that we can be a premium club as we try to describe ourselves. Then I also want to commend Chair for highlighting the fact that we had an earlier conversation between the union and Entebbe trustees and management, where we're discussing this whole thing about the VAT and the taxes that are being levied upon the green fees and collections. We had that conversation. We went ahead and had a conversation with the presidents of the other federations. The unfortunate bit is that this came around the time when
the National Sports Act is trying to demand that federations re-register as non-trustees, which again kind of confused and made all the other federations, diverted our attention, and now that's where they focus, and they gave us a deadline of 20th of this month for every federation if you're to be legally recognized as a federation. So that position, we've not dropped it, we still have it, and we are still pursuing our colleagues who are MPs in Parliament to help and see how that can be discussed and we get a redress to that issue. But I thank you so much for bringing it to the attention of the members that we had a conversation around the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Were. Mr. Jiku?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry I just joined in and did more listening because I was driving. I think the executive committee has presented a wonderful plan. It was always going to be wonderful because I think Chairman Jacob and his team always had very high aspirations and want Entebbe Club to be different. So I have a small comment on the question of green fees relating to special groups like the seniors. I think what the seniors have said is they are requesting the ExCom to look into the matter. But the manner in which the Honorable Secretary has answered it with such finality that the ExCom has nothing to look into it, I think is very unfair to the seniors' request. Let's still take it to the ExCom. I'll request the Honorable Secretary, just go do your figures again. Look at the new rates and the days you have said we have been able to raise more money, and look at the contribution of seniors to this new revenue, and then get back to previous times and see in terms of attendance. You see here, we're not only looking at the seniors because of their ability to be able to pay this because of lack of a salary. Probably some are on pension, some are now spending the little investments they made when they were still on a salary. We also consider that at that age, they use this golf walk as an opportunity to exercise, and that's why it's almost daily you go to Entebbe Club and you'll find the seniors somewhere, somehow. I do not think the numbers are big for us to, with such finality, say, no, they are going to affect our revenues grossly if they don't pay 30,000 or 40,000. So let's just give it an opportunity, look at it. If it doesn't work out, you'll get back to the members and say it doesn't work out. That's the little comment I wanted to make. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Jiku. Can I now ask the Honorable Secretary and the Honorable Chairman to respond?
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I know you have really given us some work. What I want to confirm is that we are going to look at the green fees, and we are going to take into consideration all the views which we have got from this meeting. Look at the various categories, look at the days of the week, look at the creation of packages, look at the combination of subs with the rounds of golf. We are going to look at them again, and we shall get back to you. And what I can assure you is that we have to still make sure that we are able to get some money that can help us deliver a budget that is, this budget, that the activities which we are putting in this budget. The other thing which we want to respond on is that we are going to be providing a monthly newsletter on developments at the club, and we'll give a snippet on the work plan of how we are performing. And then also there's the issue of the money in Britain. I think it is very important to answer this question. From Britain, this is the money in the trust. The first money we got from there was 200 million, which was used to payment of certificates for the old clubhouse. The original money which was there was about 439. Then we started gaining some, that's what we found. Then the second payment which we got from Britain was 141 to pay 2 certificates. And then in the AGM 45 days ago, we were authorized to pay upfront 179 million to URA for us to appeal the assessment which we had got, like has been explained by the club lawyers. So those are the figures. Basically, if you are to do quick mathematics, there's nothing left in the trust. And what did we agree in the AGM? Every member will pay back that money within 6 months. What we are just waiting for is to share with you members the registered resolutions of the AGM. And once we share them with you, every member will have to pay his share of the 179 because the club lent us that 179 million. We'll have to pay back that money within 6 months. But the Honorary Secretary maybe will tell you when that money will be required. Also, Engineer Kagoro, thank you so much for the guidance, and we are sorry for muddling up the activities. We are going to split them to capital expenditure and recurrent expenditure and share that with you. I think I've answered all the questions, maybe. You should have been in the AGM to reduce it from 6 months to many years. Time factor.
No, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
we cannot
let me
go
hand
back
over
and
to
amend
you,
the
sir.
resolution
Yeah.
of the AGM. The AGM sat, we all had an opportunity to attend. Those who didn't attend, it's unfortunate, but certain resolutions were passed. And those the resolutions are binding upon us all as members, whether we were present or not. So now, this is I would like us to wind up. So let's suggest this, that we adopt the work plan with the exception of the provision that the EXCO is going to go back and look at, as the Honorable Chairman said, and look at the preferential pricing or the issue of green fees. But I want you to take note that this matter of an increase of green fees, this is going to be the third or fourth meeting where this matter has come up and we seem to always keep on deferring it. Okay? But hopefully this is going to be the final time that we'll defer it and the final position will be declared and shared with the members, and then we'll pass it on. So can we adopt this this work plan with the changes, especially those ones proposed by Engineer Kagoro in terms of separating capex from capex and opex, and in terms of specifying which activities shall be funded in the first year and which ones shall be funded in the second year, so that we have a very clear way of being able to assess the performance of this EXCOM at the end of their term. Members, I think we need to bring this meeting to an end. Ambassador, I hope you're helping us come bring this to an end.
No, Chairman, a counter proposal. My proposal to your beautiful conclusion is that we have made a lot of comments on the budget. For example, I did mention that I think the expenditure expected from cutting of the trees is too high. The income, 80 million, that's too high. I think we will finish all our trees. So to me, my proposal is that EXCOM goes back, takes into account the comments made. There are certain areas where I think EXCOM has over-budgeted. They should look, because most of these things, I have both. Chairman, I have both the 2023 plan and the 2025-2027, they're here. I think they should go back, look, compare the figures, and where necessary, adjust the budget accordingly. And also take into account the comment made by Engineer Kagoro, and let us be realistic. Let us not be so overambitious. What we can achieve within the 2 years that they're going to be in office, they should do it. We are running a relay. This is not 100 meters. So you do what you can do and pass over to the next team that will come in. So let them adjust their budget accordingly. Let them be realistic. There is no need for another SGM. They can circulate that on the forum, and if we have comment, we will make comment, and after that, the work plan gets approved. That's my proposal. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ambassador. Innocent Chika had his hand up.
Thank you, Chair. I had my hand up before Ms. Nesta made the comments. I was seconding the proposal that has been put on the table with regarding to the adoption of the action plan. And it's against the background that the action plan is an estimate of what is proposed to be achieved during the term of office. So I propose that it's adopted together with the proposals made on the table, on the floor, with regards to the separation of the capital and recurrent expenditures and the comments made in respect of the committee reverting to the members the issue relating to the green fees as to what their decision shall be. But Mr. Chairman, we also need to take into consideration the issues in the Constitution, today being the 49th day, 45th day following the AGM. Everything has to come to a close today. So we either adopt and move on, or we cannot have a circulation and comments again. This matter has to come to an end as per the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you for clarification. You want to add? Honorable Secretary.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Would you like to add on to what Mr. Chika said?
Yes, I wanted to emphasize that we are mandated within 45 days to prepare and have this action plan presented for approval so that the expenses that we shall be making or doing for the club or any activities that we shall be working on towards are constitutional or mandated by the law. Otherwise, the expenses after today, they will be irregular, not supported by any expense, any document. We are given 45 days of whereby we have space to make any payments or any expenses that we can make within 45 days. But after today, then it means that we are doing it on our own, which will be irregular. In my view, I pray that this action plan be adopted. And for the issue of the green fees, which was not part of the agenda, but as a contribution towards the action plan, it is an issue that we can, as one of the members has requested, shall be taken back to the EXCOM for review, and then we shall come up with something that we shall share with members. But otherwise, going beyond today, it will mean that we are working in our own space, which will be regular. So I pray that we have this action plan adopted and we move on to do what we promised the club. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry, Honorable Secretary. I think now I would like for someone to move a motion.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. I think the
Yes.
secretary has not got it right. We were supposed to receive this plan and approve it, but we also reserve the right not to approve it. And when we don't approve it, that means there are reasons why, and the reasons have been given. And the ESCOM should go back and work on those reasons and make sure that they harmonize their work. For example, if somebody has told you that you cannot measure up, the current budget with the development budget, what's wrong with you going to correct that? And making sure that you present year by year so that things are very clear. It's very simple. And for sure, I agree with Mr. Odaga that those rates you have put, if you go back to them, you will realize one thing, that you have set those that are flexible and fair in nature. And what are we looking for? If we can't look for fairness and flexibility, why do you put fixed positions? I think the secretary is becoming hard for nothing.
No, member, I think that is unfair. That is unfair on the Honorable Secretary. I don't think that was called for. I don't think the Honorable Secretary is being rigid or unfair. Here is the matter. The club needs money. The master plan or the plan of action needs money, okay? It has to be raised somehow. Now, they have come up with the options. I've not had a single member come up with alternatives in terms of sources of revenue, but that is aside. The Honorable Secretary has said, look here, he has a potential constitutional issue crisis in front of him. If we don't approve some part of this action plan, there is nothing the committee can do until they come back again with another action plan and approve it. In the interim, what happens to the club? I want us to ask ourselves this. Yes, we all do have some issues. I do have concerns also, okay? But here we are potentially putting ourselves in a constitutional crisis. So what I was suggesting was that for those parts that need some work, they can go back and fix them. But at least let's approve some part of the action plan that they can proceed with tomorrow. I would like to think that the committee we elected has not come up with an action plan which is completely inconceivable, that nothing can be done and that it must completely be thrown out. No. Yes, Ambassador has indicated there must be some changes. Some have been proposed also by Member Chitamirike, others by Engineer Kagoro, and that is very well, and I think the committee has considered that they will go back and make those changes. But they must be allowed to have a plan of action that starting tomorrow morning they can follow. Otherwise, we're going to have to sit here and wait until they come back with another one because nothing else happens.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just a short one. I totally agree with you, but this is the SGM, the apex body of the club. Now, the SGM can decide. It's a master of its own. It can decide what it wants, because this is the apex body making. Now, so if the SGM decides that certain corrections have to be made to the work plan or to the action plan, I think that can be honored. And the SGM can also say that the executive can still continue. That does not stop, and it is within our power to give authority to the executive to continue incurring expenditure within a certain period. So they can continue incurring expenditure for a period of, say, 3 weeks, 1 month, until they come back with a revised action plan. But I think don't push us to approve an action plan, which I think, in my view, is unrealistic, is overestimated, and at the end of it, we are going to end up with the same thing where the same action plan will be transferred to 2028, 20, is it 30, whatever it is. So let us be realistic. And I think, Chairman, to me, let the SGM take a decision that the action plan needs to be revised, but meanwhile, the executive have approval from the SGM to continue incurring expenditure. Over to you.
Can I have Innocent Jika, he had raised his hand, say something? Innocent?
No, I think, thank you, Chair. I think the action plan can be passed subject to amendments. And the amendments to the action plan have already been raised in the meeting. We don't have to repeat them, but it can be passed subject to the amendments raised in the meeting. Thank you.
And I think that is what I've been trying to propose. Perhaps you put it with better words than me. So members, can we, because unless Ambassador, you are saying that this whole action plan is wrong and faulty, and we therefore should throw it out.
Chairman,
And you're right.
May I also add
hold on, Ambassador. Can I finish? Yeah, I think you had an opportunity to speak. Unless we are saying that's what I asked was, can we approve those parts of the action plan that are not contentious? The others, like Innocent Chika has explained, can be amended. With the Supreme Board of the club, we can say, okay, there are certain parts of the action plan, please proceed. But for the following areas, please go back and get back to us and address the issues we have raised. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Because my whole point is, even if you tell them to go ahead and proceed and go on incurring expenses, on what basis? You only incur expenditures on the basis of a budget, an approved budget. Okay? For example, we have not even approved and said, okay, let's maintain the current wage bill. We have not said, let's maintain the current maintenance costs or cost maintenance fees. Nothing. So what would be the basis for any payments they make tomorrow? That's what I'm suggesting, members, and for us to get to the end of this meeting, is let us approve subject all these amendments that we have done. Now, the club, the EXCO will then be given direction that you can only implement those parts of the plan that were not contentious and that members have not raised queries upon. That way, tomorrow they have a basis for any expenditures they incur, but then they also have an obligation to get back to us to demonstrate that the issues raised by Ambassador Chitamirike and everyone have been addressed. And when those ones are also addressed, then that part of the plan can also be implemented. Okay? Ejiku, you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. It's my considered view that the action plan, if at least what I heard in these discussions over the last hour and a half, is anything to go by. Essentially, the action plan that has been brought by the EXCOM has been approved to a large degree. I could say nearly 90%. But there are areas where the members have discussed and agreed some changes need to be made, which are straightforward, like the question of OPEX and the CAPEX, and so on, some of the issues that were raised by Engineer Kagoro. So I think that alone should not stop us from approving the action plan so that the executive can continue to implement the larger parts of the action plan that we have agreed to. And even on the matter that is being discussed of green fees, I did not hear any specific opposition to it other than an answer back by Honorable Secretary saying these things have been based on research, and I think challenge that. Well, Ed been trying to bring it up, but the figures show that the Honorary Secretary is right. But the seniors and the ladies, and I think the seniors also try to plead for the ladies to still have a preferential rate for all the days, but they didn't come out very clearly, but stayed with the seniors. I've asked for a rate, and we are asking, let to that. That's perhaps the only area. But if it doesn't work out, then they'll give us reasons as to why. And I think for us as members, we will have to look at the amended whatever and the reasons given for not either reducing the seniors' green fees to a level that would favor them, and we go on. But otherwise, like Innocent said, the plan has been approved with amendments. The amendments which are under probably 20% really. 80% of the plan seems to be okay. Members seem to be okay with that. So why should we stop the plan from being implemented and go into a constitutional crisis when we can actually do this and have those made? Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jeko. Edwin?
Mr. Chairman, I want to propose that we adopt the action plan with amendments. Edwin Tumsimi here.
Can I have someone second this, Edwin's proposal?
I second. This is Innocent.
I also second.
Thank you.
Let the record reflect Innocent and Jeko have seconded the proposal by Edwin. Now, since there is no other matter that was properly brought before this this meeting, this SGM, thank you, members, for the time. Unfortunately, I've kept you this long, but the matters that we're discussing here are very important, and the people have, raised some serious concerns which EXCO, I believe, has taken note of and should address, and will address through circulation to all the members their proposals, their responses, and how they're going to address those particular concerns of the action plan. So they will implement that part of the action plan which is not under contention, and that which is under contention shall first be addressed to the satisfaction of members before they can proceed on it. Okay? That said, I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and I will officially call this meeting to an end at 9:27. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.